I was out for a walk the other day, pondering upon the mysteries of life, when I suddenly saw what looked like a mirror. On closer inspection, it was actually an iMac. I quickly took it home, plugged it in, and it actually turned on. However, it was protected by a password. That meant that I would either have to somehow hack into the computer or reset it to gain access to it. Unfortunately for me, this would prove to be way harder than I expected. First, I decided to clean it though. It was actually quite dirty when I found it, as you can see in these photos, so cleaning it was a pretty good idea. Anyway, so about the issues I was having. Upon booting the iMac up, I was greeted by a screen saying it belonged to a certain Omar, and I needed to enter a password. Since I don't know much about Macs and thus don't know how to reset or format them, I decided to just guess the password first. However, the common passwords such as password 12345, ABCDE, QWERTY, they didn't work. And then while I was trying them, a screen popped up saying that the password was the second city of Egypt plus 69. I'm not joking here. Doing a bit of googling, I found out that the best way to reset a Mac with its password lock is to use recovery mode, where you press Command R on boot to activate what is basically like a BIOS recovery option. However, keyword was Command R. Command is a special key only available on Mac keyboards. I don't have a Mac keyboard. According to some forum posts, however, I could use other keys such as Control or Alt to replicate the Command key functionality. I tried Control R, Control with Alt R, Control Shift R, Control Windows Alt R, timing the Mac button so that it turns on the beep. I tried absolutely everything under the sun. I even tried the Shift key, for heaven's sake. Doing some googling, however, revealed that I could simply have just pressed Alt upon boot to bring up a boot menu option. This boot menu option also has the ability to take you to the recovery mode, meaning that the entire time I could have just used this. I tried it, and sure enough, it worked the second time. I quickly entered recovery mode, typed in a new password, and boom, that was it. The Mac is now mine. Turning on the Mac, I typed in the password that I had set, and it actually worked. Eventually, I remembered that you have to press the Apple logo at the far left corner and then press System Information to access all of the specs and other information. After doing so, I was pleasantly surprised when I realized this was actually a mid-2011 iMac. So this has a 2.5GHz Intel Core i5 processor, which after some googling revealed that it's actually an i5 2500S that can be user removed. Props to Apple for that. It only has 4GB of memory though, which I will upgrade in another video, and a 500GB hard drive. Surprisingly, this actually has a HD 6750M GPU. That really surprised me because I wasn't expecting it to have dedicated graphics. Enough of the tech specs though, let's get on with the performance. I'll be installing macOS High Sierra as that's the latest macOS that this Mac supports, and deleting all of the files that the previous user had. Alright, so quick update. I ended up installing another 8GB of RAM along with the 4GB already installed, because using the iMac with just 4GB of RAM in 2021 is torture. It's impossible. Luckily, this is one of the last Macs that Apple makes really easy to upgrade, so that was nice for me. Alright, quick update number 2. macOS High Sierra was super hard to install because I had to hunt down the installation files and then flash it on a USB. The first time I tried, it didn't even work. The reason I had to do this because you can't actually directly upgrade to High Sierra from macOS Lion, so that sucked. And finally, macOS High Sierra is installed. General usability is really nice, with most applications opening pretty quick, web browsing going great. I installed Edge. Don't judge me. Multitasking also works really well with the additional 12GB of RAM that I have in there, and it's pretty snappy. However, the hard drive is showing its age in certain programs. onto the gaming side of things. Now, speaking of the gaming side, on macOS there's very little games actually developed for it. This is because the macOS uses a special API called Metal, and Windows games use an API called DirectX. And now DirectX has been around for a very long time, since like I don't know, 10 years, 20 years ago, even further than that, right? So there's a lot of compatibility with it. So many people use Windows, so people generally make games for it. However, with macOS, Metal is a pretty proprietary format. It's not available for any other operating system. And since people on Macs usually use it for productivity work, there isn't many games developed for it. Now, Minecraft was one of the only few games that I own that I could actually use on macOS. Mainly because it's based on Java, and Java works cross-platform. I was having way too much fun playing this, honestly. What was way less fun, however, was actually setting up all of the monitoring hardware. Due to the restrictions I told you about before, there's not much monitoring hardware for macOS. For example, there's no MSI Afterburner with River Tuner Statistics server or anything like that. So I had to find some random stuff that was floating around the internet. For the CPU hardware monitor, I used, actually I forgot what I used, but I'll be linking in the description. And for the FPS monitor, which is literally a speedometer pretty much, I used Apple's proprietary Xcode solution. So yeah, we were getting FPS above 90 most of the time. I can't really measure it precisely. However, in more demanding scenarios such as the setting up TNT forever, the FPS could drop to about 30 or 45. However, it was a really smooth and playable experience, and it honestly surprised me. Now, due to time restrictions and software restrictions, I couldn't actually run any other games on it. However, I did run a Geekbench benchmark. Now, some of you are probably wondering why I didn't just use Boot Camp and install Windows and then play games that way. Believe it or not, this iMac is not supported for Windows, even though it can run it just fine. Windows being Windows 10, Boot Camp does actually support Windows 7 and 8. I did actually manage to get Windows 10 working on it, but that was such a hellish experience that I'm just gonna make a completely separate video about that. So then, the conclusion. I'm not even sure if this video has a conclusion, honestly. If you find an iMac in a bin, keep it. If it's a 2010 model or later, because those do support High Sierra, and most apps just still support High Sierra. You'll have a pretty smooth experience with it. However, the hard drive is getting rather slow and it's ridiculously hard to upgrade. And that's about it. Like if you liked it, dislike if you like, subscribe please, bye.